Mr. Speaker, EALA is a parliament, and in Arusha it also has, we also have the secretariat of the community. Apparently that community executes and implements a lot of projects, and a lot more of those projects are funded many times not from the community but from outside. Mr. Speaker, the point I'm trying to bring here is that these projects apparently are executed in the national or in the individual counties. Like in Kenya, we have had many of the projects that are community projects. They are implemented in Kenya, but when they are being implemented in Kenya, they are implemented by MDAs, our own MDAs. They are implemented by our ministries. They are implemented by all our agencies, the national agencies that we have. In the end, Mr. Speaker, you realize that in this House, when we are coming out with our committees, our committees do the oversight role. But these projects that are implemented by the East Africa community are hardly oversighted by any of our committees, meaning that they go unoversighted. On the other hand, EALA does not oversight them because the projects have been implemented in the individual counties. So, Mr. Speaker, this is something that I really want to believe that our House, this Parliament, and particularly your chair, Mr. Speaker, really must get into this, because they invest quite a bit of money. There's lots and lots of monies that are implemented by the community, and all these projects are not oversighted by any agency. EALA does not oversight them. Our committees here in the House does not oversight them. There have been a lot of projects, particularly there was a project that was in Lake Victoria for purposes of harvesting hyacinth. That thing is maribound and nobody else can oversight it. There was a big project of reforestation that was being done by our Ministry of Environment. Nobody oversights that. There was a big project that was being done in Kisii and parts of Bomet for water. Large water projects that were being funded through the Arusha, through the East Africa community. They are not oversighted. EALA cannot oversight them because they are in our individual countries. On the other hand, we can't oversight them because they have been the source of funding is from the Secretariat in Arusha. The other thing, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to bring around is EALA stands really as the institution that we see in the community, particularly in the region. But the biggest problem we have is the amount of conflicts we have across the individual countries, and a lot of disharmony that we have many times between Tanzania and Kenya, between Uganda and Kenya. Hardly a week passes before we have issues of incidents across Lake Victoria. Hardly a week passes before we have issues across in Isibania, in Migori. Last week, there are big issues because Kenya had not done certain things that, on the other hand, Tanzania had done. So trucks of lorries were being cleared from on the side of the Tanzanian side, but on our side, they are not cleared. So, Mr. Speaker, as we look through this thing of EALA, I think we don't need just to go or look at EALA for purposes of EALA, constantly looking at the legislations and the bills that we have passed as part of the agenda, but they really need to have the agenda as part of these problems that are really issues that are really hampering the whole issue of integration.